Good morning everybody, it's Liam Neild here with the MU review for Manchester United's third game of the 2015-16 Premier League season. A very frustrating goalless draw with Newcastle has just ended and we had enough chances to win the match. I mean, it's simple as, yes, Newcastle had chances to win it as well. I'm amazed they didn't nick it in stoppage time with the number of men we committed forward when Smalling hit the post with his header, and I thought Papiss Cissé really screwed that one up. Maybe Mitrovic would have scored, but in the end we have to settle for a point. It's disappointing, most of all because it's at home. I don't like dropping points at Old Trafford, especially not in August. You know, we really need to make this place a fortress, and making it a fortress is about more than just, you know, keeping a clean sheet and avoiding defeat. We need to win matches and win them well, and we started really well today. You know, I got crack of dawn this morning, felt really good about the game, and for the first sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes, first quarter of the match really, we dominated. Newcastle didn't have a leg in. I think it was Mitrovic's header which hit the crossbar, a fantastic header to be fair to him, that really kind of shifted the game, maybe made United a little bit more withdrawn. But yeah, we really started well. I thought we could have scored easily in the first 10 minutes, and I thought Wayne Rooney had a perfectly good goal disallowed, which really would have changed the complexion of the game if you think about it. If we'd gone 1-0 up when we arguably should have done early in that first 5-10 minutes, then it could have been a comfortable 2 or 3-0 win. But because we didn't get that early goal, we allowed Newcastle to get into the game, and as a result, we're sitting here at full time with only a point. And it is disappointing, mainly because we really did look to have improved, especially in that first quarter of the match. You know, Schweinsteiger was fantastic. Everybody was closing down. You know, everybody was looking lively. Rooney looked good. Depay looked good. Everybody was moving around off the ball, helping each other out. And just as the game went on, you sort of saw us relapse into that, you know, kind of passing lethargy that we had last season, that people were really frustrated with us about, and we couldn't end up breaking them down. We definitely should have scored in the second half. I thought Michael Carrick was brilliant when he came on, and had we won the game, I would have attributed it to him coming on for Schweinsteiger, who did look like he lost his legs a bit in the second half. But I really do think that this game most of all emphasised our need for a top quality striker. I know that everybody's been saying it, everybody's been banging this drum. It's the whole transfer window really, especially since Rooney started, you know, underperforming at the start of the season. I have to be fair to him. I think Rooney was really unlucky not to get that goal in the first 10 minutes, and because of that I'm going to reserve too much harsh judgment from him, because had that gone in, you know, it would have been a completely different game. But he's my fantasy league captain. I had so much faith in him to score against Newcastle, the team he loves to play against, and he just didn't make it happen for us today. Aside from that first, you know, half an hour, he really wasn't much of a goal threat at all. He just sort of was anonymous up front, so I think we need to definitely drop him back into the number 10 role. Adnan Januzaj had another decent performance there, but I think long term you need Rooney in that number 10, and we need a top quality striker up front. If it's Thomas Muller, I don't think it will be, then that would be the perfect solution to our problem there. I was saying that a centre-back was what we needed, but now that I've seen Daley Blind and Chris Smalling keep 3 clean sheets, you know, knowing Rojo is coming back, Jones will be coming back, and you've even got Johnny Evans in there along with Blackett and McNair, maybe we don't need one. So fair play to Van Gaal if that's working out for him. But the one really disappointing factor of the match today, obviously aside from the result and, you know, the general level of play, I thought, you know, going forward in the, maybe not in the beginning of the game or at the end of the game, but in that sort of middle half an hour of the game, I thought we were really lethargic. We didn't look like we were helping each other out. We were all a bit pedestrian, and that was very disappointing. But the thing that really sort of was a blow that I wasn't expecting was how poor Memphis Depay was. I might get a little bit of flack for this, and I know that he had a wonderful game against Bruges midweek, but Louis van Gaal says young players need to establish consistency if they want to become top players. This goes for Adnan Januzaj, this goes for Memphis Depay, and it goes for other players like Luke Shaw as well, players who are still finding their feet. Luke Shaw has found his consistency, you know, and Januzaj to an extent is starting to find some consistency. And if we can get Memphis Depay, maybe not performing with the way he did against Bruges every single week, but at least, you know, putting in a really good shift every week, then, you know, we'll be fine going forward. But today he didn't look like he did much for me. It looked like he'd been figured out by Mbemba every time he tried to cut in onto that right foot of his. Mbemba was there. He looked a bit toothless today, and I don't know if that's maybe all the media hype getting to him. I've always said that the media really does negatively influence the minds and the psychology of the young players in football. But he needs to step up. He needs to be a man about it. I'm sure he won't be happy with that performance for sure, considering he was in some sense disappointed that he didn't get a hat-trick on Tuesday. So with that said, I mean, it's difficult to pick out a man of the match in a 0-0 draw, you know, but I would have to go with Luke Shaw. I think he's been consistent all season so far. I was happy with his performance today. Obviously, I was disappointed with the way it all turned out. But Luke Shaw was my man of the match. Obviously, an honourable mention to, you know, Chris Smalling, Daley Blind, Matteo Darmian. All the back four were good today. But going forward, we need that little bit more oomph, and I think we need that in the form of a world-class striker now. Louis van Gaal has come out publicly and on many occasions and said he will only buy players who he believes improve his squad. I think that's a little bit of the reason why Pedro maybe didn't come in the end, because he wasn't completely convinced that Pedro was going to be a huge step up from what we already had. And fair play to him for that. And if, you know, Thomas Muller isn't available, or someone of that calibre or around that calibre isn't available, I understand him not going and investing the money for the sake of it. But at the same time, if one of those top quality strikers becomes available, whether it be Thomas Muller or anybody else, you know, of that calibre, it'll be difficult, but we need to try and snag them. So with that being said, you know, leave a comment below. What do you think of the game today? And yeah, I'll catch you later.